You guys think panthers are domesticated? Now we're getting into this blind.
Wait. You know cats just domesticated themselves.
I know the backstory on cats to murder humans. Yeah.
They just rolled up and they're like, hey.
Yeah, they do that.
They mimic the baby's cry, so people love them. They're the only animals in history that domesticated themselves.
Do you guys want to know who I learned that from? Sean, 14 times. I want you to know that. All right, are you ready to get into this? You're the only reason I know that, and you're actually the reason I'll never forget it, is because you've told me so many times that I know it. Now, I probably did forget the first 2 or 3.
Oh my
if I want
gosh.
to give
Okay,
Sean a little
I
credit
just
here.
uncovered this. It smells amazing.
Okay, for you guys at home, the point of today's video is to see if Special Reserve, which is somewhere between $20 and $40, Antique 107, which is somewhere between $60 and $100, and then WLW, which on secondary 5 days ago was $1,600. So,
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't either until I looked it up.
Oh, that hurts.
Let's see if the price jump is worth it. Is it worth,
So it's worth 20 bottles of this then?
give or take?
No. We can just roll this episode through.
Here's the thing, it's phenomenal. So let's see. Now here's what we'll also do before the end of the video is
drank that much already,
we
huh?
should do like bar prices on each bottle
100%.
and see if bar prices give us a better, yes, it's worth it, right? So
Where'd the other half of this bottle go?
remember when we drank on our 100K live stream?
No.
That's when it went. That's where it went and when it went. So we have them blinded. Ricky poured these.
I feel
These
like
are,
some of us had more than others that night.
I had a lot of over 17. It was phenomenally beautiful. Okay. They're blind for us.
It is. It is single blind. We know what's in the blind. We do not know where they're at.
Yep. Ricky poured this, and now we're going to drink it. Hey. Okay, that smells good.
Smells pretty good.
Now, here's what I will admit fully. So the point is that these are all the same mash bill. They're all Wellers. This is the King William LaRue Weller. This is the most obtainable good Weller in theory. And then this is the lowest bottom shelf base offering Weller. So, did you
Hey.
smell all 3 of them?
What?
This actually smells really good. smells
Normally
good.
Dan is not known for liking Antique 107.
I
He
like-
finds it way too floral, and I told him, we opened this bottle, and I let it have a little air. I go, I think you might like this. It's not that bad.
I am what people call a bougie wheat drinker.
Yes, you are.
I like wheat whiskeys that are expensive and hard to find, and otherwise I'm good.
Honestly, none of these, like, first
Smells like
rip,
coffee.
none of them smell bad. Coffee?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of coffee you drinking?
This is the problem. I've been on this crazy black and white hole now, where they've been like aging beans with other things, so it's giving it hints. And I get into wild coffee. I don't actually, for real, at this point, I don't know which one it is. I will say that's actually really good.
There's a little hint of something. I can see the coffee note in the end.
Just
like it's something a little dark. It's like
Yeah.
that really burnt caramel.
Yeah, I like A more than I thought I would, because I don't think it's WLW.
That smells a little simple. It's got some like really, really fresh apple skin note on it.
The nose on it is great, actually.
A little confectionery sugar.
If that was $1,600, would I pay for it? No.
God, no.
If it was $100, I would. That's fantastic. All right, I'm gonna move to B. Oh.
We should have probably done this in colored glass.
Oh my gosh, dude. Woo! Who did Zeus have sex with to make Hercules, buddy? Because that came from the same place.
Hera.
That's why. What?
Hera.
Hera?
Yes, that's her name.
Are you
Yeah.
effing with me?
Pretty sure that's real.
That's wild.
Yes, Zeus and Hera.
I'll breathe that in until I drown. That's beautiful.
The amount of, like, I know what happened is you smelled it, your mouth watered a little bit. It was like, give me. And I watched you go, and it just shot out so much spit. Can't imagine where WLW is.
That's worth $1 million if I was a millionaire. I'd have to be a millionaire, and I'm not. If I
Glenn
were,
doesn't fit in this.
don't do whatever you're doing, because I'm not driving you to the hospital. Like, I'm gonna have to be like, oh, Sean's at the hospital.
I can pick up the whole board.
If I have to call your wife and tell her that you're getting surgery
The whole board.
on your hand, she will murder
What? It's
both
gonna
of
fall
us.
down.
No, it's gonna break, and then it's gonna
Look.
ching, 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 ching.
No, it's like really in there.
I'm moving to C.
Wait, this seemed like a really good idea when we pitched it to ourselves, and like a little bit
This is why we're gonna do bar pours.
more down the road, it feels a little bit more like stupid.
We're gonna do bar pours prices. We're gonna, because that'll make this more fair. Because bar pour prices live in this weird existence of not quite usually secondary and kind of findable. Wait, what's that one?
Smells sweet as hell.
That's fantastic. No way does whatever is after B, meaning C, live up to... Dude, I got halfway through that sentence and lost myself. There's no way that C on the nose is still good because of B. Yeah.
Like in there's a sweetness that exists in C that is not in B actually.
I love C. And I thought I didn't like this bottle at all. This is just a journey of discovery for us.
It actually has more like of a pear note with marshmallows.
I love the idea of a pear flavored marshmallow.
Why?
Because vanilla and pear are beautiful. And if you combine them and make them one, then they become perfect.
Well, that's
Unity.
Crushable. Come to find out. I don't know of
That's the
anything
most
that I've
paired
drank
whiskey I've ever had
in
in
a
my life.
long time that I think I could just crush a half a bottle of and really enjoy it the whole time.
I thought I didn't like that. I know
You
this.
also didn't think you liked one of the other ones too.
Come to find out, I like both of the other two.
Yeah, I know. You've evolved as a person. Good job, buddy.
I grow constantly. This is the best part about being really stupid, is you get to constantly, incrementally become better. You don't understand. You guys just start from a different place. It's harder for you to become better people. I start from a lower place, way easier. You guys are idiots.
Holy fuck. That's so good.
That's the most pear-forward whiskey I've ever had.
Yeah, it's
And I
wild.
love it. In following B, I'm actually shocked that either of these bottles would stand up to, in theory, what seems like this one. I would pay so much money for B to be Antique 107 right now, and us to be the worst whiskey people of all time.
The only thing this one has that the other two don't is like right mid palate, there's a little youthy note. I get some
It's definitely simpler.
like really underaged wood notes is what I'll say. Is that I get off like some craft stuff that is like way more apparent in craft when you try it and you're like, wow, that's young craft. There's just a little
I don't
hint
get
of
that. That's interesting.
Really?
I think I'm equating this to, like, I literally get a simple syrup note where it's just straight sugar, confectionery sugar, and no complexity.
There's some, yeah.
But I don't
like,
get youthfulness.
There's something like a little dry woodiness in the mid palate
Interesting.
for me, and like I get that really heavily off of, like I said, craft spirits.
I'm going to be completely honest, I like all three.
And there's video. We'll see you next week.
But before we get into the answers, we got to talk to you about our favorite t-shirt company on planet Earth.
Clothing company.
Honestly,
that.
on Mars too, if you think about it.
In the whole universe, Dan.
In theory.
You could just say that.
We haven't explored all of it, but if we had, intotheam.com/bourbon junkies would be our favorite place to buy stuff from.
Yeah. Hey, you
Look at
know
this.
what? New year, new you. Why don't you try out getting a new wardrobe?
Why don't you try out getting these guns? Boom,
Okay.
dude. Nothing makes those guns look like that except Into the AM and steroids. Go ahead.
Okay, but what I was gonna say is, you can go out there and you can get the basic bundle, which is probably my favorite because it's good for everything. You can go
Yeah, for
anywhere
real.
with the basic tees. They fit great. They make you look a little bit better, like what Dan was
They make you look
alluding to.
shredded.
But they're my favorite. Or you can go with the graphic tees, or you're just smart and get the hoodies because it's Michigan and negative 400 still. I don't know how.
I don't know. Today's warm. It's 30. Also, just if you click the link, we'll just make it easy. You can click the link in the description below.
Oh, that's true.
Thank you, Into the AM, for working with the channel. We love you guys. They've been a super long-term partner for us, and we've had a great experience with them. People who bought them have had a great experience as well. Thank you, guys. Cheers. Back to whatever one, in theory, Weller Special Reserve. Okay, so what we're going to do is just pick our favorite.
Okay, that's fine. That's
B.
easy. Okay, but this is worth it. You have to justify why this is worth 20 more bottles of this.
Sure.
I don't think you can.
We're clearly using a secondary pricing on the WLW.
I mean, we have to because literally
MSRP is
we
100.
damn near have to.
MSRP is 100. That's not real. This bottle of whiskey is very expensive and very hard to find, and we know that, right? The point of this series is actually to help maybe like, oh man, well,
Curb
you know
some
what?
FOMO.
I've never had 107, but I have seen it, and maybe could have paid up for it. If this is even remotely close to this, I should have bought it, right? So, whatever B is, I don't actually believe anything's close to. Even from a drinking standpoint. I'm not even talking about value at this point.
I mean, it was number 1 and number 2 on our Whiskey of the Year list, so I would guess B, A, C. I'm assuming you're going with the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we would have been right.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing.
But now I have to justify if, like I said, I don't know if I could justify this being worth
Let's talk about
20 bottles of this.
Right, let's talk about the first jump first, though.
Okay.
Just to start from the beginning here. Is Special Reserve worth $40?
Yeah.
In current market,
100%.
100%. Because, this relates to me like Eagle Rare does. I
Oh.
want good whiskey that I can drink a fine amount of and not get
I was going to
schmammy.
equate it to something worse.
What?
I would rather drink the shelf bottle of Weller than a lot of other things. Larceny picks.
100% agree.
A larceny pick bats so much more than what it is.
Yeah.
So it was like, if I saw a larceny pick or a Weller pick, I'd do a Weller pick.
I'm not even close. Yeah.
But the larceny pick, I would way rather drink than a lot of other wheated bourbons
Sure,
around
yeah.
the price.
Well, cheap wheat bourbon's not great.
Great. Yeah.
Okay, so if we were you and I would both pay $40 for this for sure.
Easy.
Would you and I, in Ohio or Texas, these are more findable than they are in Michigan. Would you, shout out to Wilser, would you pay $60 to $80 for this bottle?
Hands down.
I would too. And I actually think the jump is worth it for me.
Yeah.
If this were a pick, I may change my mind, but the jump here
the
is
depth
worth
of flavor you're getting from
The
107
complexity,
to the Special Reserve is damn near unparalleled, I think, in whiskey. Like, I can't think of a base offering going from like the next one up, because this is the bigger brother to that
it. Yeah.
one. The jump you're getting is damn near unparalleled.
This is hyper comparable, and I think we did a blind in the past, but in my mind right now, this is hyper comparable to like an old Rip 10.
Yeah.
And this is being like that 60. I think secondary is around 100. So I would say that this is a really good place in the market buy.
Yeah.
Also, at a bar, if you've never had it, 107, Antique 107, this is also a solid pour at a bar.
The only thing I can think of is like Elijah Craig.
Yeah.
Elijah Craig barrel proof.
Yeah.
Easier
Oh,
to
as a
find,
comparison?
like-
Yeah, I like that.
and then
Do you think
let's
that's worth
talk
$100
about
bucks?
The elephant.
Do you think that's worth? Do you think
room.
this is worth 100? Do you think this is worth MSRP?
Neither does RNDC, but
This for the video. This is 2022 WLW. This is one of the best whiskeys I've ever had. Is it worth $1,600? If I had FU money, 100%.
I would venture to say that's the best whiskey we've ever owned. Hands down.
I would say top 2.
It's either between that and like the George T. Stagg from 2018.
King Kentucky, maybe.
Oh yeah.
So I say top 2 without a second, right?
Yeah.
I say top 2 to leave a placeholder
There you go,
for
top
another
3.
bottle. Yeah, exactly. Right?
I promise there's gonna be ones that we will go for the top end, but I don't think there's any way, shape, or form that I can convince people to spend $1,600 on one of these
I agree with you.
versus
60 to 100.
even if you source it secondary.
Let's do a bar pour price for fun.
Okay.
Because I think that's more related.
Because I think we're both going to say that the 107 is worth it, which I'm very
100%
happy
it is.
that you enjoy this 107.
So maybe I was basing my 107 like ability on too few 107 experiences.
Yes.
You and I had a bottle. It was hyper
Very
floral. Sean liked it for that reason. I disliked it for the exact same reason Sean liked it. This isn't as floral. It's more complex than I remember.
It definitely is.
And it's darker. Let's say a pour of this, 15. Say a pour of this, 25. Let's say a pour of that, 60.
Oh, okay.
Which one are you doing at those prices?
60.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm doing bar pours at least once. I'm not saying every day of the week or what constantly. If you've never had this and you don't think you're going to be able to try it, a bar pour of that
Okay,
is worth
so you
it
think-
over these two.
50 to 60 for an ounce.
Yeah.
I would do hands down. Like, it's not even a question. If I've never had WLW, I'd definitely pay that. Really, I don't think WLW would be that high for a bar pour.
If you and I go to a whiskey bar and they say you can have these combined
Okay.
or this,
Yeah.
and you get 2 ounces here or 1 ounce here, and
You
it's
hope-
the same price.
Yeah.
I'm trying WLW once.
Yeah. You hope you
one
find
time.
a bar that gives you like this for $100.
Yeah, I'm trying this one time. If these are the same, if these two combined are the equivalent of that.
I honestly think for the normal whiskey drinker, the takeaway here is find 107.
Yeah, just go to Ohio on
You,
like a
you
weekend.
eventually find this in a bar for a good price that you can find and pay it.
That's a good point.
And
Buy a
drink it.
bottle of this, try that in a bar.
Yeah.
And if you got FU money, just buy that.
But realistically, if this is just sitting around, I don't think it's
Dude,
that bad.
dude,
Like, that's
if
definitely worth it. Just drink and half bottle.
If I walk into, so when did
My last
Sean
bottle
and
was
I,
$18.
Sean and I went into a Total Wine in like freaking, I don't even remember what state, not Michigan.
We're in Texas.
Texas. Sean, we walked in and they had this and it was $18 and it was like, okay, 18?
They kept bringing them out one at a time.
It's the best value.
So
whiskey.
it was like literally they set it out, and I was like, "This bottle's cold," and they're like, "We bring them out one at a time." I think it was a Total Wine or Specs or whatever it was there in
Yeah.
Texas, and I was like, "For that price, I cannot pass it up."
Yeah. But yeah. Needless to say, that's life-changing whiskey. This is the best value on the whole table, period.
100%.
This you run the thing, we can do the talk out.
Oh yeah, we can do it.
This, okay. So
That used to be like $30.
you and I have never talked about this. I have a life experience that I wish I could relive now, obviously.
What was her name?
Remember? Jonathan. So anyways, I walked into Opperman's in Saginaw. This is before we knew Sean. We didn't know Jeff. You and I, this wasn't even a thing yet, right? Walk into Opperman's in Saginaw, still Opperman's, Corkinale, whatever. Walk in. As soon as the wine, you walk by the cases of wine, and then you walk left, and there's a first shelf of whiskey riser directly in front of you.
Yep.
He used to have a barrel, and I don't know why this is vivid. It's weird. He used to have a barrel of whiskey, or empty barrel, but he put whiskey on top of it. On top of it was just all of the old scroll text, whatever, Antique 107s. On the front of the barrel, it just said, Weller Antique 107. It said $26.99, and they were these in the old bottle.
They were so much money.
And I looked at them like, and the barrel head's full.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like picked over. It's like there's 12, right?
Hate it.
And I looked at them like, nah. Worst label in the market at the time.
Oh my
you know
God.
what I mean?
You know what's funny? That's our heyday.
Oh yeah.
Like that's thinking back to our
Yeah,
heyday.
because that's when I was getting Elmer's.
when people were like, I could walk in and just buy Pappy's
Yeah.
and fucking
$27
whatever, BTAC.
107s.
Yeah.
And at this point, those would be considered Dusties, realistically. Like,
Oh, those old, the screw top,
Yeah.
like that giant script font.
yeah, in the shorter bottle. Yeah.
Oh my God.
They were just sitting there, barrel head full of them. And I didn't buy a single one, swear to God.